so I think you should be grandfathered. I think that I would really like to see some on-site parking from you. However, when I look back into the rules, and I'll take another look at the rules, I'm not sure you need to, because,
I should be grandfathered.
well, that has nothing to do with the parking requirement.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to look through the rules again, and I'll look through them with you, but I want us to look through those together and just really talk about the parking, but I'm not sure
In
that
the
you
front
will
of my
require
house
it.
is 2-hour parking.
So it doesn't matter what's on street, right?
Mm-hmm.
That has nothing to do with
Okay.
your business, so that's got nothing, it has to be on site. So we can talk about the parking.
Can you go to an existing business and say, we're gonna shut you down if you don't add parking? Because can you go to the cop and say, gee, you're doing pretty well and our rules have changed, so you have to add some more, because that's what you've done to me.
I know, and I don't think so.
I don't think that's legal.
That's my take on
Okay,
the rules,
good.
and I don't think we can.
Okay.
Um,
I also would like to sell the property with, as a going concern, because
Okay.
a house like that with a $40,000 or $60,000 a year income from rentals is worth a lot more than just a plain house. And I've
Absolutely.
spent 4 years doing that, so I want that to be grandfathered also.
yeah, we can talk about that, but, you know, your business license runs from year to year.
Right?
So here's the thing about the short-term rentals. You have to come in, we don't do renewals on short-term rentals anymore. So the rules changed last year.
Mm-hmm.
Council passed a new bylaw
Mm-hmm.
on short-term rentals.
Mm-hmm.
And the deal with short-term rentals is that you don't get renewals anymore, you have to come in person and apply. But if you come in before December 15th, you get renewed.
Which I did.
So keep that in mind in the future. The other thing for you for short-term rentals is that you have to live there. You have to live there, or your long-term tenant has to live there.
And that was not the case before.
It was not.
Before.
So this is new.
Okay, and before they said we want somebody who lives within a 10-minute drive.
Anyways, I'm just telling you what the rules are,
Mhm.
so it doesn't matter anymore what anyone else told you. This is the rule.
Oh, so if I'm grandfathered, am I grandfathered under the old rules or the new rules?
The grandfathering only means that you don't have to pay $500, the deposit. That's the only change for you.
So, but it does mean that I can sell my business when I sell my house.
Sure.
Okay, because at the
Yeah.
at the current rules, I'm building a business.
Yeah.
And people come back year after year after year to rent from me.
Yep.
When I sell the house, that's house value. Okay.
Anyone can get this business license as long as they comply with the zoning regulations,
Mhm.
right? And the business license bylaw.
And if the
So-
zoning changes year to year, do I have to invest thousands of dollars and take out my landscaping?
Zoning does not change year to year.
Okay,
It
well,
will not change.
okay.
Okay.
A little mini question.
Yeah.
What about like vacation rental density on per block? Like is that an issue? Like can you only have so many vacation rentals /
So here's the deal, you can only have 3 per block, right?
so what is already existing on this block?
I think you're okay. I think we've looked at it and I think you're okay.
Okay.
And here's the point, is that you need to pay attention. If you get a business license,
Hmm.
come back before December 15th every year, and you automatically get your license again. But if you wait after the 15th, everybody then has an
Can
opportunity to
swoop in.
get in. And there's only 110 annual, and I think it's 40 summer. So
Mhm.
if you don't make it in, then you're out of luck. But we're nowhere near the 110. I think we're like at 45.
Okay, so here's another question. When I did my business plan, I counted on 68% occupancy based on the 27 other rentals in the Nelson area.
Mm-hmm.
By the time I had my business license, Airbnb had opened up. It
Mhm.
happened at the same time period.
Okay.
Then it shot up to like, 197 rentals to compete. So
Mhm.
I suddenly wasn't protected by my business license. I lost a lot. Instead of occupancy being 60
Yeah.
or 70%, it was at 20%. I lost a huge amount of money over those 4 years because the city did not enforce the licensing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now the city has taken away my license for 7 months, for which I have not been able to receive an income on my investment. Is there a liability there, and will I be able to get some credit with the city?
So you're gonna need to talk to a lawyer about that.
Well, no, but I'm talking, but is the city, you've made the mistake of taking away my license and not allowing me to apply and told me I didn't follow the rules or whatever it is. And you had a website up that said different things and then the rules changed. And I've got a documentation of going round and around saying,
Yeah.
just answer these questions, please. And
Right.
nobody did.
I think Megan did.
Not really. She just said, apply for a summer rental. Apply for a summer
No, I think
rental.
there's more in the file. There's more there that talked about why. And I think the reason, and again, I haven't spent a lot of time looking through the file, but I think the reason is because that you never complied with the B&B rules.
But I was already complied.
I think you got a license from downstairs.
But what was how did I not comply?
Because I think you had complete suites,
No, I didn't have complete suites. I never had complete suites.
like with a kitchen?
They had access to my kitchen, but I would have happily taken out the kitchen. There
Right.
was sometimes a stove, sometimes a
Mhm.
microwave. If I rented it out for months at a time,
Mhm.
I put a stove in there. If I didn't rent it out for months at a time, sometimes there was no stove because it broke for a whole year and
And I
wasn't
think
in
you
there.
had to live on site.
Well, but that's not what I was told by the last building inspector.
Well, regardless of what you were told, you need to read the bylaws,
Okay,
and you need to comply with the bylaws.
the old bylaws said I didn't have to be on site.
I don't think it did.
Okay, so what you are telling me now, and the words that are coming out of your mouth, if they're false, I have to read the city bylaws, because if a city employee happens to tell me the wrong thing, I personally am responsible to say, oh, the city employee made a mistake.
So, I don't know what anyone told you.
Right.
It's kind of what you tell me,
Right,
right? And when I talk to somebody else, they'll tell me another thing about
Mhm.
what they said.
okay,
And so that's, to me, is all kind of hearsay. The reality is that you need to comply with the regulations,
right.
regardless of whatever
So
anyone
if I
tells
remove
you.
the stove from upstairs, then no one will have access to a stove upstairs, and I can continue to rent out 2 rooms upstairs.
So that's all in the past. Now you need to comply with the new regulations for short-term rentals,
And
right?
according to Brian and Bruce, I do comply, is that correct?
Have you read the bylaw?
What? I haven't, I don't know, I had him at my house, and I called on the phone, and Valerie said, yes.
So
You
you
said
need
you
to
do
stop listening to
comply.
what other people tell you. I mean, you can listen to it, but I think you, okay, for your own sake and your own sanity, need to read the bylaws.
Okay, and when I read online what the rules were,
Mhm.
and then I asked them about it, they said, oops, what we had online was a mistake. I can show you here where it says that I can have somebody rent my place and apply for that you don't have to be a resident. I have it on it was
Agreed.
on, right,
Which is what I've already said to you.
Right.
You either live there as the primary resident, or you have a long-term tenant that lives there, and they're
Mhm.
taking care
Which
of
could
those
be
2
Keegan.
rooms.
which could be Keegan. Right,
Sure.
now, I could have
Whatever you
more than
want.
one long-term tenant in the building, because I plan to rent the rooms downstairs on a more long-term basis. Like, I could rent it to the whole downstairs to a family, right? Like a family, if I rented my house to a family, and they wanted to continue to run the 2 rooms upstairs as a B&B, or short-term rental, right? Sorry, my language is different. They could rent it, and they could happily live downstairs and keep renting 2 rooms out upstairs. It could be Keegan, it could be a family, it could be Keegan and his friends living in the main part. But only 2 rooms are allowed to be short-term rental.
Well, let's look at the rules. Let's not guess here. You got the right binder? Yeah, I do. I would suggest that you get a copy of this.
I'd love you to provide me with a copy.
I will definitely provide you with a copy. Okay, so short-term rentals. So this is the business license bylaw that was approved for